When life gives you lemons, make lemonade, so the saying goes. But it takes an awful lot of sugar to make lemonade. Perhaps it's better to accept the bitter disappointments that come along in life. And when the unexpected turns into something wonderful, enjoy it. I'd like to show you the mountain farm where I now unexpectedly and beautifully live. Welcome. Bem-vindo. So this is the kitchen. And that's the piggery, as Chris calls it. That's the next part. These two buildings are linked. These were the second buildings that were built on the farm. And if you've noticed in an earlier episode, I said that this is the dog step. So either Cola or Bozo like to sit here in the sun, because obviously it gets the sun. And I end up sweeping the rubbish over a sleeping dog. When we first bought the farm, this room was completely black. It was where the former owners smoked their meat. Now it's a pleasant room to eat pancakes on a Saturday morning, and Bozo has developed a taste for creme fraiche. Welcome to the bathroom. Small but perfectly formed. You may have seen in the earlier videos that Chris was busy tiling this. Again, this is pretty much the original bathroom. We haven't changed the size of it, and we've kept the bath. But all the rest we've modernised. It has caused us a few problems. We've had an issue with the drain for the bath. So the plug hole has been leaking water from underneath the bath and out onto the floor. The challenge that we've had is that the bath is solid concrete, and we couldn't find the pipes underneath the floor, even when we looked from below. And it was, do we now have to rip out a concrete bath? Which would have been catastrophic, I think. Anyway, Chris has found a solution. So he's managed to acquire some bits and re-drilled the hole through the plug all the way down below, so that we have a new outlet for the plug, for the bath and for the shower water. We mainly use the bath or this area for showering, so it's like a rather deep shower tray. We haven't used a bath. We haven't made it into a bath because it's quite tiny. Now, as a bathroom, it's rather small, but for two of us, it's perfectly fine. We don't need a great big huge bath, a great big huge bathroom, and being small, it just makes it easier to clean. Now, we've had quite a lot of rain today, so it means that the air's quite damp. And because there's no heating in here, then we have a problem with damp. So the towels get damp and everything. That's the challenge of just living here. The other challenge is that, as you may realise or come to realise, this is the bathroom, but where we are is across the farmyard. So if we want to come to the toilet or we want a shower, then we have to run across the farmyard to our sleeping quarters. Hopefully that will change one day, because our plans for phase 2 are to have this building all in one. So where I'm talking to you, where you're standing now, will one day be a kitchen, and we'll go into that building, and this will be one whole living quarters. And then we have to think about creating another bathroom or another toilet and shower area for that building over there. At the moment, this is the only bathroom and toilet on the farm. So there's some work to be done, but welcome to the bathroom. On with the tour. Ho ho! Sorry, I've just seen some massive great big clouds coming in over there. So this is the other area of the farm. We've got the farmyard, and here we've got the outbuildings. So in this one at the moment we've got a 1,000-litre water tank, and that supplies all our water. That's where we store our water for the kitchen and for the bathroom. So there's a pipe that Chris installed that's running under across the yard. There is a well and a borehole, but we're not using those at the minute because we've got questions about sanitation. So the toilet goes into a tank in the garden, but it's an open tank. It was built with the farm, so we're not sure where that sewage is going to. And because the borehole is, we think, is relatively close, and at 30 meters, we think there is a chance that the sewage from the toilet could seep into the water. So until we can get that tested, we're not using it. And since the water pump broke down a couple of months ago, we haven't bought a new one because we're just not sure how the water situation works. But there is a pipe at the end of the drive, and we've got a very long hose pipe, so we just fill that with 1,000 litres of water every couple of days, and that does us fine. We also store our wood in here, and then we've got what would have been I guess a press and a big tank for treading grapes that we have to do something creative with and try and modernise, but that's a future project. All of these buildings here are at some point going to need new roofs. So those are the projects. There's a lot of work to do. And the farmyard here at the moment, this is grass and this is concrete that is breaking down and a bit of a mess. So again, we're hoping that we're going to get somebody to come and put calçada across the whole lot. Remember I just went at the amount of cloud that's piling in? That's it. Coming in. So this is the other way. We've just come out of the kitchen. The bathroom's over there. And behind us is up the steps to our living room cum bedroom. So here is the newest house of the farm buildings. This house was built in 1978, so it's the more modern of the farm buildings, and was the building that we hoped to make our main living quarters, but we want some work doing to make it, to update it, and thereby hangs a tale. So I'll get you to come in and I'll explain the story of the yellow house. So, we've already talked to each other in this room, because if you remember, if you've watched an earlier episode, I can't remember which one it is, an earlier story, I was modelling some rather fetching plastic bagware, mainly because I didn't really have any work clothes. So let's get back to the story. I've already told you about this room. So I was busy painting this when we first bought the property way back in May and June. We were getting this room ready, and around that time we had organised a local builder to come to take down the walls. So what we want to do is to have all of this, it's not big, but open plan. So we would have a living room, bedroom, we'd have the view. Chris was gonna build in there a kitchen, and here behind this wall is the bathroom where I've been talking to you. But the bit that we need the builder's help for is that taking walls down involves structure. So we need, now let me get this right, we need an RSJ, we need the ceiling strengthened so that the walls can come down. And that's what this local builder was going to do in August. And as you can see from the room, the walls are not down because the builder in August went silent. And yeah, I'm sure the local builder is where he still lives, which is the next village along to where we were living, but is not answering phone calls or messages, or even though in August he was a man of his word and he was going to come in a week and a half, or in August. Well, clearly words and actions don't marry up, so we'll leave it at that. At the moment, as far as this building is concerned, we're struggling to find someone to do the construction work, because that's something that Chris can't do on his own. The rest and everything else, it's not a problem, but major construction work is beyond us. And we're beginning to realise whether it's a challenge with living here, or whether because of the circumstances in the world it's just a challenge. Trying to get people to come and do work on your house is really difficult. And so we're very fortunate that we can pretty much do most things, but there are some things that are beyond us. Isn't this great? So this is the oldest building on the farm. This is underneath the room that we're using as our main living quarters. And I think it's probably the bit that made Chris fall in love with the farm. I mean, he loved it from the moment he walked down the drive, and I think this just cemented it. So we've still got the original animal pen. We're not quite sure what animal they kept in here, because they certainly kept pigs in the building next door. Or goats, I'm not sure. But you've still got old wood, and I know wood is a challenge in Portugal because of woodworm, and there is woodworm. There's one of the beams that we certainly need to replace fairly quickly. But there are quite a few that have been replaced, and the wooden floorboards are fine for now. But it's the character of it, and it's trying to make sure we keep that character. Now, ultimately, what we do with this room, we're not really sure, because the challenge that we've got is, while you've got the bricks and you've got the stones, it's actually built into the rock. So behind you and in this corner is the actual rock of the mountain, because we're sort of slightly below, and certainly behind you is the rock, and that rock weeps when it rains. Now, whether that's connected with a water channel that literally runs at sort of head height along the back of this wall and takes the water off the top of the mountain, from higher up on the mountain, round the edge of the garden and off, whether that needs to be sealed, and that's something we have to do some work on next year, or at some point we need to resurface and seal that so that the water moves quickly away from the house and around the back of the house. Whether there's actually anything that we can do with the weeping stone, don't know, to turn this into something, but yeah, this is probably big money, and money that we actually probably don't have at the moment. So if anybody out there is watching this, and when you see the room, you have some suggestions as to what we could do, or solutions for how to sort of stop the water, it'd be interesting to know what you think. Sensible suggestions, please, because it would be really nice to kind of perhaps do something with this. But I think in terms of the jobs that need to be done on the farm and the things that we need to do, this is like a project for maybe a couple of years in the future. But it's nice to dream and nice to think. And at the moment, you come in here and you get a real sense of the authenticity of perhaps the life of people who lived here, and what they did. And that they actually, this building was the first one. So before any of the others were built, and it's like, how the heck did they live in just this building? Is quite interesting and remarkable to the the nature of the people who lived here.
Thank you for watching. Please give this video a like before you leave. How do we put our stamp on this building and this quiet spot on the side of a mountain? And how does this quiet spot begin to change me? Well, subscribe and find out. Let's see what life unfolds. Bye for now.